A calm wolf terrifies the forest more than a roaring lion because it hunts in silence and strikes without warning. They don't hate you because you did something wrong. They hate you because you didn't play their game. They came with fire and fury, and you showed up with silence. They threw chaos at you, and you smiled like it was rain. You didn't flinch. You didn't engage. And that shook them to their core. You need to understand something right now. They weren't fighting you. They were fighting the force behind you. The quiet power the universe wrapped around your shoulders when it saw what you carry. You're not just some person walking through the world unnoticed. You are chosen. And whether you've accepted it or not, that energy carries weight. It disturbs the fake. It exposes the hidden. It tears through masks like wind through smoke. Before we go deeper, stop what you're doing. Like this video and hit subscribe, not just for you, but for others walking this same path. When you interact with this message, you signal to YouTube to show it to more of the chosen, those who feel the shift, those who feel different but can't explain why. Help this message reach the ones still waking up. Now listen close. The truth is, you were marked by the universe long before they knew your name. That quiet confidence you carry, that ability to walk away without a single ounce of regret, that's not indifference, it's power. It's the kind of power people don't recognize at first, so they fear it. And what people fear, they try to destroy or discredit. That's why they gossip. That's why they play the victim. That's why they throw shade and call it concern. But you didn't fold, you didn't react. And when they realized they couldn't control you emotionally, they got mad. Not because you're cold, but because you're free. And freedom is offensive to people who are slaves to their own ego. You need to stop doubting your light. Stop thinking you're alone. That lie, that thought in your head telling you no one gets it, that you're too different, too distant, too much. That's not your voice. That's their fear talking. That's the echo of every insecure person who couldn't figure you out and decided to blame you for it. You've mistaken isolation for abandonment, when really, the universe was clearing space. You were never abandoned. You were being positioned. People don't hate you. They hate what your presence reveals about them. Your calmness, it's a mirror. Your silence, it's a spotlight. Your detachment, that's divine rebellion against emotional slavery. You walked away from the games they thought no one could escape from. You detached, and in doing so, you declared war on manipulation without saying a word. And here's the part that haunts them the most. You didn't just walk away. You glowed up. You got quieter, stronger, more focused. That's what's killing them. They thought you'd come back. They thought you needed their chaos to feel alive. But you found peace. And peace is louder than any drama they could ever throw at you. The power of being chosen doesn't show up with loud entrances. It arrives through endurance, through resilience, through the ability to keep your soul clean in a world that rewards filth. They don't know what you are because what you are can't be explained with surface words. You're not detached because you don't care. You're detached because you do care, just not about nonsense. So next time they come at you sideways, remember this: they're not fighting you. They're fighting the universe that chose you, and that's a fight they'll never win. So if you're feeling that familiar pull, that quiet knowing deep in your gut, you're not here by accident. Drop the number 77 in the comments if your detachment has been misunderstood, if your silence has been mistaken for weakness. This message is coded for the real ones, and the deeper we go, the more you'll see just how rare your energy is. They don't know what you are, but after this, you will. Stay locked in. If you're truly chosen, you won't be able to look away. Number one,
just confused.
they
They're
tried to
exposed.
clip your
Their
wings
private lives
because
don't
your
match their public
silence made too
performances
much
anymore.
noise.
They act calm in the daylight, but at night
You didn't
they're
need a
scrolling through
throne to
articles about
threaten them.
stress,
Your
karma,
very
and
presence
how to
was a
undo
rebellion
mistakes
they
fast.
couldn't control.
They're scrambling because
So
the
listen,
universe
chosen
doesn't issue
one.
refunds.
They didn't
only
whisper
receipts.
behind your back
And those
because you were
receipts are
weak.
showing up
They
everywhere.
did it because your
And chosen
silence
one,
was louder
before we
than their
dive deeper,
noise,
let me
and your
pause here to
distance
thank you.
exposed their
Thank you for your
desperation.
courage, your patience,
You walked
your
in with
silence that
nothing
spoke
but
louder
calm
than their
energy
noise.
and a
Don't
clear
forget
soul.
to return the energy.
And they treated
Press
it like a threat,
subscribe, and share
because
this message so
it
more
was
souls
one.
can see the truth for what it is.
Let's stop
This is
pretending they were
bigger
ever
than you
playing
and me.
fair.
It's about
They
spreading
weren't
the
dealing
light
with
where
you.
shadows have grown
They
too
were trying to
comfortable.
rewrite
And
your
thank you
story
again,
before
chosen
you could
one,
even
for
tell
being
it.
part of this mission.
Passive-aggressive
You are not
comments,
standing alone.
twisted
You are part of a
conversations,
force.
half
Now,
smiles
let's
laced
get
with
back to what's
envy.
unfolding,
They
because
called
this is
you
important.
cold when
The
you
whole
stopped
community is
entertaining
shook.
chaos.
Not because
They
the storm
labeled you
arrived, but
arrogant
because it
when you
arrived
finally
exactly the
chose
way
your
you
peace
described.
over their
They
nonsense.
thought you were exaggerating
But
when you
you've got
spoke
to
about
see it
betrayal,
for what it was,
secrets, and
a carefully
manipulation behind
designed
closed
trap.
doors. They said
Not
you were
to
dramatic
destroy
when you
your
pointed out the
reputation,
patterns of abuse
but to
and
break
the quiet
your
deals
rhythm.
being made in the dark.
Because your
But
stillness,
what's happening now?
it
Every
scared
single
them.
one of those things
Your
is crawling
ability
out
to
from under the
detach
rug
without
like bugs
begging,
scattering when the
without
light gets
chasing,
turned on.
without
The
explaining,
truth was always
that
there.
shook them.
It just needed
You were
time
supposed
to
to
grow too
react.
big to hide.
You were supposed to
Think about it
crumble
this
under
way.
pressure,
If you
fall
cover a
into their
boiling
web,
pot and pretend
and
the heat
dance to
isn't
their
rising,
tune.
does that stop it
But
from
you
spilling
didn't.
over?
And so, they escalated. They
ignored
turned
the
to
warning
gossip,
signs,
distortion,
slapped labels on you to make
and
themselves
silent
feel safe.
sabotage.
But the eruption
Not
couldn't be
because you
stopped.
did anything,
And now they're left
but
with a mess
because you
too
didn't
big to
do
clean.
what they
Because
expected.
pretending
You
doesn't
didn't
erase
shrink.
reality.
You didn't
It only
defend.
delays it.
You didn't
And this
explain
isn't
yourself
just
to
about
people
being right.
who were never listening
This
in
is
the
about
first place.
vindication.
And now
Chosen
you
ones,
wonder,
your warnings
why
weren't
me?
guesses.
Why do
They
they
were
keep
clarity.
targeting me?
You weren't looking
Why does
into
it
the
feel
future.
like I'm walking
You were
alone?
looking at the present without
Here's the
filters.
brutal truth.
And that
You're not
terrified
walking
them.
alone.
That's why they
You're being
laughed.
walked ahead.
That's why they
The
ridiculed.
universe doesn't
Because
align
admitting you
itself
were
with
right
just
meant admitting
anyone.
They were blind.
You've been
And
pulled
people
out of
would
the
rather drown
crowd,
in denial
not
than
because you
admit they
don't
missed the
belong,
obvious.
but because
The
you've
universe has a
outgrown
way
their
of
noise.
forcing truth
You
into
don't
the
fit
open.
because you're not
No matter
meant
how
to.
many blankets of
And
lies
yes,
people try
that
to cover it with.
isolation cuts.
Now the panic is setting
Yes,
in.
it feels
Nothing
personal.
cuts deeper than the moment
But
your
the
mockery turns
isolation
into silence
isn't
and your
punishment.
silence turns into fear.
It's preparation.
Chosen ones.
They
That's
weren't
what the
just
community
playing with
is
your
living
name.
right now.
They were playing
very
with the
people who
system,
once dismissed you,
trying to
laughed
cheat
at you,
fate
called
by
you
making
extreme,
you
and
question
now frozen
what
in
was already
disbelief.
yours,
It's like watching
trying to
magicians
dim
trick
your
backfire
light
in
before
slow
it hit
motion.
full beam.
The same crowd that
But
cheered
that
when you were
light,
ridiculed is now
it's
gasping,
not up for debate.
realizing the warnings
You were
they
chosen
ignored are
before
no
they
longer
even
whispers.
knew your name,
Their headlines,
and their
their
opinion
reality,
has no bearing
and
on
every
your
single denial
position.
they threw at you
Don't
is now
sit there
coming back as
doubting
a haunting
yourself.
echo.
Don't
Here's the
start
thing about
questioning
truth.
your value
It
because
doesn't
the
need your
room got
permission to
quiet
exist.
when you walked in.
Like fire hidden
That
under dry
silence,
leaves. It
that's
only
the
takes a spark
universe
to expose
rearranging
everything.
energy.
Chosen
That
ones,
discomfort
you
in
were
the
that
air,
spark.
that's
You
your
told them the storm was
frequency
coming, and they
disrupting
called you
theirs.
paranoid.
You are
pointed out
not
the cracks
the
in the wall,
problem.
and they mocked you for
You
being
are the
negative.
shift.
But now the
You
wall
are
is
not being
collapsing brick by
avoided.
brick right in
You
front
are
of them.
being
And the
distanced
dust is choking the same
strategically
voices that
because
once
your
mocked yours.
presence demands
That's not
realness,
coincidence.
and they only
That's
know how to
consequence.
perform.
And let's bring in the
You ever
facts.
notice how they try to
Psychology has a term
isolate
for
you
this.
right when you're
Cognitive
starting to
dissonance.
glow
It's the
different?
mental earthquake people
Invitations
feel when reality
disappear.
collides with the lies they built their
Conversations
comfort
dry
around.
up. People
Right
act
now,
off.
that earthquake is
That's
shaking
not
their entire
coincidence.
foundation.
That's
They
fear,
aren't just confused,
disguised
they're
as
exposed.
exclusion.
Their private
They
lives
think if
don't
they
match
push
their
you
public
far enough
performances
out,
anymore.
you'll come
They
crawling
act calm
back,
in the daylight,
hungry
but at
for
night
their
they're scrolling
validation,
through articles about
desperate
stress,
for inclusion.
karma, and how to
But the
undo
real
mistakes
ones
fast.
don't beg for
They're
tables
scrambling
they were
because
meant to
the
flip.
universe doesn't issue refunds,
You were never meant
only
to fit in a
receipts.
space where
And those
truth had to
receipts are
shrink
showing
just
up
to
everywhere.
survive.
And chosen one.
So let them
Before we
twist
dive
your
deeper,
calm into
let me pause
coldness.
here to thank you.
Let them call
Thank
your
you for your courage,
detachment
your patience,
ego.
your silence that
It's
spoke
not.
louder than their noise.
It's survival.
Don't forget
It's
to return the
elevation.
energy.
It's the
Press
mark
like,
of someone who's
subscribe,
done
and
explaining
share
peace
this
to
message so
people
more
who
souls
worship
can see the
conflict.
truth for what it is.
And here's the part
This is
they'll
bigger
never admit. They miss your energy, even as they slander your name. They crave your presence, even while trying to erase your image, because deep down, they know you were never meant to stay small. You were never one of them. You were just nearby. Chosen ones, stop doubting your own selection. Stop pacing your room, thinking you've been left behind. The universe doesn't forget its own. And if you're being pulled away, it's because you're being positioned where the noise can't reach. You're not invisible. You're inaccessible. And there's a difference. You're not alone. You're in
The truth was
alignment.
always there.
Yes,
It just
they're
needed
trying
time
to
grow too
isolate
big
you,
to hide.
but they
Think
don't
about it this way.
understand.
If you cover a
Solitude
boiling pot
is
and
your
pretend the heat
strength,
isn't
not
rising,
your weakness.
does that stop it from
They
spilling
think
over?
they've cut you off, but all they did was cut themselves
ignored the
off from
warning
access
signs,
to what they
slapped
couldn't
labels on you to make
manipulate.
themselves feel safe.
That's not
But
your
the
loss.
eruption couldn't be stopped.
That's theirs.
And now they're
So
left
hold
with
your
a mess
ground.
too big to clean.
Let them whisper.
Because pretending
Let
doesn't
them
erase
wonder.
reality.
Let them
It only
stew in the
delays it.
silence you left
And
behind.
This isn't just about being
Because
right.
here's what they
This is
can't
about
stomach.
vindication.
You're not
Chosen
broken,
ones, your warnings
bitter,
weren't guesses.
or begging.
They were clarity.
You're better.
You weren't looking
And
into
better
the future.
without them hurts
You were looking
more
at the
than
present
anything
without
you could have
filters.
said.
And that terrified
Don't
them.
look back.
That's why
Don't
they
explain.
laughed. That's
Don't
why
try
they
to
ridiculed.
clarify truth for
Because admitting
ears
you were
that
right
never
meant
planned to
admitting they
hear
were
it.
blind. And
You're
people
not
would
here
rather
to be
drown in
understood
denial
by
than
the
admit
shallow.
They missed the obvious.
You're here
But
to
the
stand
universe has a way of
unshaken,
forcing truth
even
into the
when the
open.
ground beneath
No matter
everyone
how many
else is
blankets of
trembling.
lies people try to cover
And
it
the
with.
next time you
Now the
feel the
panic
sting
is
of
setting
being
in.
pushed out,
Nothing cuts
remember
deeper than
this.
the moment your mockery
When the
turns into
universe
silence
chooses
and your
you,
silence turns
it
into
will
fear.
isolate you
Chosen ones,
to
that's
upgrade
what
you.
the community is living
It will
right
clear
now.
rooms,
The very people
cut
who once
ties,
dismissed you,
and
laughed
shift
at you,
energy.
called you extreme,
Not to
are
hurt
now
you,
frozen in
but to
disbelief.
protect what
It's
you're
like
about
watching
to
a
become.
magician's trick backfire
Your
in slow
detachment
motion.
is not just
The
a
same
boundary.
crowd that cheered when
It's
you
a
were
signal.
ridiculed is now
It's a
gasping,
warning.
realizing
It
the
says,
warnings they ignored
this
are no
one
longer
can't be
whispers.
played with.
Their headlines,
This
their
one
reality,
answers
and
to a
every
higher
single denial
calling.
they threw at you is
So
now
stop
coming back as a
shrinking.
haunting echo.
Stop
Here's
questioning.
the thing about
Start
truth.
owning the
It doesn't
silence.
need your permission
Start
to exist.
respecting the
Like
distance.
fire hidden under
That
dry
quiet
leaves.
path,
It only takes a
that's the
spark to
chosen
expose
path.
everything.
And you're
Chosen
walking it
ones,
for a
you
reason.
were that spark.
They don't know what
told
you
them
are,
the storm was coming,
but
and
soon
they called you paranoid.
they will.
You pointed out the cracks in the wall,
Number
and they
two,
mocked you for being negative.
They keep
But
throwing
now the wall
storms
is
at you
collapsing brick by
because
brick
your
right in front of
silence
them.
refuses
and the dust
to
is
shake.
choking the same voices that once mocked yours. That's not
When they can't
coincidence.
touch your peace,
That's consequence.
they try to burn the
And
ground
let's bring
around
in the
you,
facts.
hoping you'll
Psychology
jump into
has
the
a term for
fire
this,
just to
cognitive
prove you're
dissonance.
alive.
It's the mental earthquake
So
people
listen,
feel when
chosen
reality
one.
collides with the
You've
lies
probably
they built their
noticed
comfort
by
around.
now, it's
Right
not
now,
just the
that
cold
earthquake is
shoulders
shaking
or the
their
whispered
entire
lies.
foundation. They
When
aren't
they
just
realize they
confused,
can't
they're
get inside
exposed.
your head
Their
quietly,
private lives
they
don't
start
match their
lighting
public
fires
performances
in
anymore.
plain sight.
They act calm
The
in the
moment
daylight,
your
but at
detachment
night they're
proves
scrolling through
unshakable,
articles about
they
stress,
shift gears.
karma, and how to undo
Subtle
mistakes
manipulation
fast. They're
wasn't
scrambling
enough.
because the universe
Now
doesn't issue
they want a
refunds,
reaction,
only receipts.
a loud one,
And those receipts
a messy
are showing
one,
up everywhere.
a human
and chosen
one.
one. Before
But
we
here's
dive
what they
deeper,
can't
let
stand.
me pause here to thank you.
You won't give
Thank
it to
you for
them.
your courage. Your
Understand
patience,
this,
your silence
these
that spoke louder
outbursts,
than their
this
noise.
drama,
Don't
these
forget to
sudden
return the
emergencies
energy.
that
Press like,
conveniently drag
subscribe,
your name
and
into
share this
chaos.
message so more
That's
souls
not
can see the truth
coincidence.
for what it is.
It's not
This is bigger than you
miscommunication.
and
It's
me.
war,
It's about
disguised
spreading the
as
light where
confusion.
shadows have grown
It's
too comfortable.
strategy.
And thank you
A
again,
last-ditch
chosen
effort to
one,
pull you
for
off
being
your
part of
path
this mission.
and back into the
You are not
circus where they
standing alone.
thrive.
You are part of
They'll
a force.
stir conflict
Now,
where there is
let's
none.
get back to what's unfolding,
Twist
because
words,
this is important.
fabricate
The
problems,
whole community
trigger
is shook,
old wounds,
not because the
all to
storm
create
arrived,
emotional
but because it
chaos
arrived
around
exactly
you.
the way you
Because
described.
they know
They
something
thought you
most
were
people
exaggerating
don't.
when you spoke about
The
betrayal,
chosen operate
secrets,
differently.
and manipulation
You don't
behind
need to
closed
raise your
doors.
voice.
They said
You
were
don't need
dramatic
to
when you
prove your
pointed out the
power.
patterns of abuse
Your
and the
stillness
quiet deals
alone
being
is
made in the
disruptive
dark.
enough.
But what's happening
And that,
now? Every
that
single one of those
terrifies them.
things is crawling
You
out
see,
from under the
they're
rug
not
like
trying to
bugs
win an
scattering when the light
argument.
gets turned
They're
on.
trying to make
The
you
truth
lose
was
your
always
center.
there.
And
It
they'll
just
come
needed
for it
time
all.
to grow too
Your
big to
beliefs,
hide.
your
Think about
values,
it this way.
your
If
identity.
you cover a boiling
They'll
pot
bait
and
you
pretend
with
the heat
lies
isn't
that are
rising,
just close
does that
enough
stop
to
it
the
from
truth
spilling over?
to force you to want to explain. They'll poke at your character,
ignored the warning
daring
signs,
you to step
slap
out of
labels on you
line
to make
just
themselves
so they
feel
can
safe.
say,
But the
see,
eruption couldn't
you're
be
no
stopped.
better than us.
And now they're left with a mess
But
too
don't
big
fall
to clean.
for it.
Because
You weren't
pretending
chosen to
doesn't
entertain
erase reality.
fools.
It
You weren't
only
marked
delays
by
it.
the universe
And this
just to
isn't
play
just
tug
about
of
being
war
right.
with people who can't
This is
control
about
their own
vindication.
chaos.
Chosen
You weren't
ones,
given this
your warnings weren't
detachment,
guesses.
this sharp
They were
clarity, just to
You
throw
weren't
it all
looking
away
into
in
the
a
future.
battle that was never
You were
yours
looking
to
at the
fight in the
present
first
without
place.
filters. And
They
that
want your
terrified
energy.
them.
That's what this is all about.
That's why they
They're
ridiculed.
addicted to your
Because
energy
admitting you were
and
right
angry
meant
that
admitting
you're
they
no
were blind.
longer pouring
And
it
people
into
would
their
rather
black
drown in
hole of
denial than
attention
admit they
seeking.
missed the obvious.
They
But the
need your
universe has a
reaction
way of
to
forcing
feel
truth into the
real.
open. No matter how many
But when you
buckets of
give them
lies
nothing,
people try to cover it with,
when you
now
walk
the
away,
panic is setting
eyes
in.
calm,
Nothing
heart
cuts
steady,
deeper than the moment your
they
mockery
spiral.
turns into silence and your silence
You think
turns
they're
into
acting
fear.
out because they're
Chosen ones,
emotional,
That's what
But
the
it's
community
deeper
is
than
living
that.
right now.
They're
The very
desperate.
people who once
Your
dismissed
silence
you,
feels
laughed
like
at you,
judgment to
called you
them.
extreme, and now
Your
frozen
ability
in
to walk
disbelief.
away looks
It's
like
watching a
power they'll
magician's
never
trick
have.
backfire in slow
Your
motion.
refusal to be
The same
baited
crowd that
is
cheered
a
when you were
reminder
ridiculed
that
is
their
now
control
gasping,
is
realizing
gone.
the warnings they
And
ignored
here's the
no
thing,
longer
chosen
whispers.
one.
Their
They're not
headlines,
just
their
testing your
reality,
patience.
and every
They're
single
testing
denial
your
they threw at you
identity.
is now coming
They
back
want
as a
to
haunting
know
echo.
if your peace
Here's the
is
thing about
performance
truth.
or
It
real,
doesn't need your permission
if
to
your
exist.
calm is a
Like
mask
fire hidden
or a
under dry
lifestyle.
leaves. It
They
only
want to
takes a
know if
spark
that
to expose
detachment you
everything.
talk about is
Chosen
sturdy enough
ones,
to hold
you were that
when they
spark.
flip every
You told them
emotional
the storm
switch
was
around
coming,
you.
and they called you paranoid.
They'll even mimic
You pointed out the cracks
emergencies,
in the wall, and
make
they mocked
everything
you for
seem
being negative.
urgent so
But
your
now the wall
instinct
is
to
collapsing
protect
brick
kicks
by
in.
brick right in front
But
of them.
don't be fooled.
And the dust is choking
Their
the
goal
same voices
isn't
that once mocked
resolution,
yours.
it's
That's
domination.
not coincidence.
They want to
That's
drag you into
consequence.
their storm
And
so they
let's
can
bring
watch
in
you
the facts.
drown in what they built.
Psychology has a
So
term
they
for
can
this.
say, see,
Cognitive dissonance.
you're just
It's
like
the
us.
mental earthquake people
But you're
feel
not.
when reality collides
You're not
with the lies
cold.
they built their
You're
comfort
clear.
around. Right
You're
now,
not detached.
that earthquake is
You're
shaking
disciplined.
Their entire foundation.
You're not
They
silent
aren't just
because you're
confused,
scared.
They're exposed.
You're silent
Their private
because
lives
you've
don't
learned
match their
that not
public
every
performances
battle
anymore.
deserves
They
your
act calm in the
sword.
daylight, but at
The
night,
universe
they're
didn't
scrolling through
choose you
articles
because
about
you
stress,
fight well.
karma, and
It
how to
chose you
undo
because
mistakes
you know
fast.
when not
They're
to fight at
scrambling
all.
because the universe doesn't
You're
issue
here to
refunds,
hold your
only
ground in the
receipts.
middle of chaos
And those receipts
and
are
not
showing up
flinch.
everywhere.
That's
And
power.
chosen one, before
That's
we dive
what
deeper,
real
let me
energy
pause here
feels
to
like.
thank you.
Solid,
Thank you for your courage,
still,
your patience,
unbothered.
your silence that spoke
And trust
louder
me,
than their noise.
they feel it.
Don't forget
That's
to
why
return
they're
the
screaming
energy.
louder,
Press like,
pressing
subscribe,
harder,
and
getting
share
more
this message
reckless,
so more souls
because
can
their
see the
tricks
truth for
don't
what it
work
is.
anymore.
This is
Because
bigger
their
than
games
you
are
and
now
me.
see-through.
It's about spreading the
You
light
are
where
the
shadows
still
have grown
point
too
in
comfortable.
their spinning
And thank you
world.
again, chosen
And the
one,
fact that they
for being
can't
part
throw
of
you
this
off
mission.
balance,
You are not
it
standing
haunts them.
alone. You are
Don't
part of a
question your
force.
approach.
Now,
Don't
let's
ask
get
if
back to
maybe
what's
you should have
unfolding,
said
because
something,
this is important.
done something,
The whole community is
defended
shook.
yourself.
Not because the
That's
storm
not
arrived,
your path
but because it
anymore.
arrived exactly
You've
the way you
evolved
described.
past explaining
They thought
your
you were
peace to
exaggerating
people
when
who
you spoke
only
about
speak
betrayal,
chaos.
secrets,
You've
and
outgrown the
manipulation behind
noise.
closed doors.
And the next
said you
time
were
they come
dramatic when you
throwing
pointed out the
storms in
patterns
your
of abuse
direction,
and the quiet
let
deals
them
being made in the
rage.
dark.
Let
But
them
what's
twist.
happening now?
Let them
Every single
spiral.
one of those things is crawling out
But
from
you,
under the rug like
you
bugs
stay
scattering
still,
when the light gets turned on.
because stillness
The truth
is the
was always
language of
there.
the chosen.
It just needed time
And
to
only
grow
the
too big
chosen
to hide.
know how to
Think about
speak it
this way.
under pressure.
If you cover a boiling pot and pretend the heat
Number
isn't
3,
rising, does
the
that stop it
louder
from
they
spilling over?
scream, the more your silence becomes a weapon.
They ignored the warning signs, slapped labels on
Still
you to make
waters
themselves feel
cut
safe,
deeper than
but the
crashing
eruption
waves
couldn't be stopped.
because they
And
hide
now
no
they're left with a
performance,
mess too
only
big to clean.
power.
Because pretending
And listen,
doesn't erase
chosen one.
reality. It only
There's something
delays it.
about
And
stillness
this
that
isn't
drives
just
them
about being
insane.
right. This is
Not
about
the lazy
vindication.
kind,
Chosen
not
ones,
the
your
indifferent
warnings
kind.
weren't guesses.
We're
They
talking
were
about
clarity.
that calm
You weren't
that
looking
comes from
into the
knowing
future.
who you are.
You were looking at the
That
present
deep,
without filters.
unshakable stillness that
terrified
whispers,
them. That's why
I
they
don't need
laughed.
to react to
That's
prove
why
I
they
exist.
ridiculed. Because
That's the
admitting
kind of
you were
energy
right
they
meant
can't
admitting they
copy,
were blind.
and more importantly,
And people would rather
they
drown
can't
in denial
control.
than admit they
So
missed
they
the
start
obvious.
scrambling.
But the universe
First,
has a way of
it's
forcing truth
small,
into the open.
passive-aggressive
No matter how many
jokes,
blankets of lies
sideways
people
comments,
try to cover it
trying
with.
to bait you
Now the
with
panic
subtle
is setting in.
jabs.
Nothing
But when you
cuts
don't
deeper than the
flinch,
moment your mockery
when you
turns
blink
into
once
silence
and keep
your
it
silence
moving,
turns into fear.
that's when the real
Chosen
panic
ones,
sets
that's
in.
what the community is
Because
living
people
right
who
now.
feed off
The very
chaos
people who
need
once
one
dismissed
thing
you,
to
laughed at
survive,
you, called
your
you extreme,
reaction.
and now frozen in
And when you
disbelief.
don't give it,
It's like
it
watching a
exposes
magician's
them.
trick backfire
So
in
what
slow
do they
motion.
do?
The same
They
crowd that
escalate.
cheered when you were
They
ridiculed
raise
is
the
now
volume,
gasping,
raise the
realizing
stakes,
warnings they
and lower
ignored
their
are no longer
character.
whispers.
They
Their
throw
headlines,
heavier
their
words,
reality,
make
and
it more
every single
personal,
denial they threw
twist
at you
it
is now
deeper,
coming back as a
hoping
haunting
that
echo.
just once
Here's
you'll
the thing
snap.
about truth.
Just
It doesn't
once,
need your permission
you'll
to
crack
exist.
the image of
Like
calm
fire hidden under
you've
dry
worked so
leaves.
hard to
It only
build.
takes a spark to expose
But they don't
everything.
understand.
Chosen ones,
Your
you were that
stillness
spark.
isn't a
You
mask.
told them the storm
It's
was
armor.
coming, and they called you
You've been
paranoid.
through too
You
much,
pointed out the cracks in
with too much, grown too far to be shaken by people whose only weapon is noise. They don't even realize that the more they try, the more they reveal themselves. Because desperation has a sound, and it's loud, clumsy, and obvious. Every failed attempt to move you, that's a mirror reflecting right back at them. And the reflection they see, it's ugly, Not because of you, but because of everything they tried to hide behind manipulation, drama, and ego. You see, chosen ones don't just resist chaos, they unmask it. Simply by not engaging, you force people to face themselves, and they hate you for that, because it's easier to blame you than to admit they're losing control of a game they invented. But here's the power play they didn't expect. You don't need to win arguments. You don't need to shout over anyone. Your silence says everything. Your refusal to respond speaks volumes. While they swing wild, hoping to knock you off balance, you're standing in a place they can't even reach, centered, and let's be real, holding your peace in the face of pressure. That's not weakness, that's discipline, that's power, that's mastery. Anyone can yell, anyone can throw a fit, but to stay still, to choose silence when everything in you could explode, that's a level of self-possession most people will never touch. So when they say you've changed, when they say you're too quiet, too distant, or acting different, take it as confirmation. You're not who you used to be. You're not here to entertain emotional chaos or validate people's need to feel dominant through drama. You've chosen a higher path, and that decision alone breaks their grip. And let's talk about what really scares them. It's not just that their drama didn't work, it's that in failing, they realize they never had real power over you to begin with, that it was all smoke. All performance. You were never under their control. You were just too kind, too patient, too generous with your energy before. But now, you see it. You see through the act. And worse, for them, you're not angry about it. You're not bitter. You're indifferent. And nothing destroys manipulators faster than the realization that you don't care enough to fight. Your detachment is clean, surgical, it cuts ties without bloodshed, and that kind of separation, that kind of peace, it leaves people haunted, because it's the type they can't recreate. It's not fake, it's not forced, it's earned, so hold the line. When they get louder, you get quieter. When they get reckless, you get still. Because stillness is a stance. It's not passive. It's defiant. It's standing in the eye of the storm and refusing to move. It's power in its most raw, unfiltered form. Remember, they want chaos. Not because it solves anything, but because it hides their fear. Don't help them hide it. Let their behavior speak for itself. Let their noise echo unanswered. Let their tantrums collapse under their own weight. You're not here to argue with clowns. You're not here to explain your boundaries. You're here to stay grounded, stay focused, and stay unshaken. The ones who scream the loudest when you stay silent are the same ones who once fed on your energy. They're starving now. That's not your fault. That's their karma. So next time they try to shake your stillness, remember this. Your peace is not the absence of chaos, it's the rejection of it. And nothing makes the insecure more furious than realizing you've mastered the one thing they never could, yourself. Number 4, when they can't control you, they rename you. They couldn't handle your presence, so they tried to kill your character. But you're not what they call you. You're what you keep standing through. So, chosen one, let's talk about the smear campaign, the name-calling, the subtle digs, the bold accusations. Because once your detachment doesn't break, once your silence holds steady, and your energy stays yours, they pull the next card. The oldest trick in the book, labels, cold-hearted, aloof, because the storm arrived, arrogant, because it arrived exactly too quiet, the way you described. Too distant, too much, not enough. These aren't descriptions, these are defense mechanisms. Their pride is burning under your calm, and instead of dealing with the fire inside them, they try to throw that heat back onto you. But let's get one thing straight.
The truth
These
was
labels
always there.
aren't a
It just
reflection
needed
of who
time to
you
grow
are.
too big to hide.
They're a reflection
Think
of how
about it this
deeply
way.
they feel
If you
your
cover a
absence.
boiling pot and pretend
When
the
people
heat isn't
can't
rising,
control your
does that
emotions,
stop it from
they
spilling
try
over?
to control your image. If they can't rattle you, they'll
They
try
ignored
to
the warning
rewrite you.
signs, slapped
But what
labels
they
on you to
don't
make
realize
themselves feel
is
safe.
that chosen
But the
ones
eruption
don't
couldn't be
crumble
stopped.
under character
And now they're left
assassination.
with a mess
We
too
get
big to
sharper,
clean.
stronger,
Because pretending
clearer.
doesn't erase reality.
Every name they
It
hurl at
only
you is a
delays it.
confession,
And this
a
isn't just
projection,
about being right.
a message
This is
they
about
wrote to
vindication.
themselves and stamped
Chosen
with your
ones,
face
your warnings
because they
weren't
couldn't
guesses.
stand the mirror
They were
your
clarity.
peace held
You
up to
weren't
them.
looking into the future.
You set
You were
boundaries,
looking at the
and they
present
called it
without
betrayal.
filters. And
You
that
stopped
terrified
engaging
them.
in their drama,
That's why they
and they
laughed.
called you distant.
That's why they ridiculed.
You outgrew the
Because
chaos,
admitting you were right
and they
meant
called you
admitting they were
arrogant.
blind.
No,
And people would rather drown
what
in
they
denial
really
than
meant
admit
was,
they missed the
I
obvious.
can't
But
access
the
you
universe has a
anymore,
way of
and it
forcing
terrifies
truth into
me.
the open.
They
No
were
matter how
comfortable
many
with the
blankets
version of
lies
you that
people try to cover it
over-explained,
with. Now the
overgave,
panic is setting in.
over-apologized.
Nothing cuts
The
deeper than
version
the
that
moment
shrunk
mockery
yourself
turns
to
into
keep their
silence, and your
egos
silence
inflated.
turns into fear.
But now that
Chosen
version is
ones,
gone.
that's what the
You
community is
reclaimed your
living right now.
time, your
The very
attention,
people who once
your
dismissed
energy.
you, laughed
And
at you,
instead of
called you
clapping for your
extreme, and now
evolution,
frozen
they
in
started a
disbelief.
narrative
It's
war
like
to
watching a
dirty your
magician's trick
name
backfire
and
in slow
soothe their
motion.
own pride.
The same crowd that
But
cheered
listen
when you were
closely.
ridiculed is now gasping.
When you've been chosen
Realizing
by the
warnings they
universe,
ignored and no
there's a
longer
glow
whispers.
you carry
Their
that
headlines, their
unsettles the
reality,
ones
and
still
every single
stuck in their
denial they
own
threw at you
shadows.
is now coming back as a
They
haunting
don't
echo.
understand your
Here's the
detachment
thing about truth.
because they've never
It doesn't need your
experienced real
permission to exist.
emotional freedom.
Like fire hidden
They're
under dry
addicted to
leaves.
reaction.
It only takes a
They
spark
feed
to
off
expose
drama.
everything.
So
Chosen
your
ones,
peace
you were
feels
that
like
spark.
rejection.
You told them
Your
the storm was
silence
coming, and they
feels
called you
like
paranoid.
judgment.
You
And
pointed
your
out the cracks
boundaries
in the wall, and they
like
mocked you for being
betrayal.
negative.
But
now the
boundaries
wall is
aren't
collapsing
betrayal.
brick by brick
They're
right in front of
survival.
them.
They're
And the
clarity.
dust is choking the
They're
same
a
voices that
declaration
once
of
mocked yours.
self-respect that says,
That's not coincidence.
I no longer allow
That's
what drains
consequence.
me to define
And
me.
let's bring in the facts.
You want to know
Psychology
why it
has a term
stings
for
them
this,
so bad
cognitive
because you
dissonance.
stopped
It's
giving
the
them
mental
access
earthquake
to the
people
version
feel
of
when
you
reality
that made
collides
their
with the lies they
dysfunction
built
feel
their comfort
normal.
around. Right
And now
that
they have to
earthquake is
face
shaking their
themselves,
entire
and they
foundation.
hate that,
They aren't
so
just
they spin
confused,
it.
they're
They grab the
exposed.
easiest
Their
words they
private
can
lives don't
find
match
to
their
throw
public
at you like
performances anymore.
stones,
They
hoping
act
one
calm
will
in the
stick,
daylight, but at
hoping
night
you'll
they're scrolling
flinch,
through articles
hoping
about
you'll
stress,
come back to
karma,
defend yourself.
and how to undo mistakes
Don't.
fast.
Let them
They're
speak.
scrambling because
Let
the
them
universe
label.
doesn't issue
Let them
refunds,
paint you
only
as the
receipts.
villain in a
And those
story you
receipts are
never
showing up
asked to
everywhere.
be in.
And chosen
Because
one,
the truth
before we
is,
dive deeper,
your
let
growth
me pause here to
demands
thank you.
misinterpretation.
Thank you for your courage,
The moment
your
you stop
patience,
playing
your
small,
silence that spoke
people
louder
who
than the
benefited
noise.
from your
Don't
silence
forget to
will
return
accuse
the
you
energy.
of everything
Press
but
like,
honesty.
subscribe,
But
and share
that's
this
not
message
your
so more souls
concern.
can see the truth for
Your
what it
job
is.
is to
This
keep
is bigger
walking
than you
in
and me.
truth,
It's
to
about spreading
hold
the
your
light where
peace,
shadows have
to
grown
let
too
your
comfortable.
actions,
And
your
thank you
calm,
again,
and your
chosen one,
refusal
for
to
being
break
part of this
speak
mission.
louder
You are
than
not
any
standing
label
alone.
ever could.
You are part of a force.
And chosen one,
Now,
here's
let's get
what
back
you
to
need
what's
to stop
unfolding,
doing.
because this is important.
Stop
The
doubting
whole
yourself
community is shook.
just because
Not
someone
because the storm
misunderstood
arrived,
your strength.
but because it arrived
Your
exactly the way
detachment
you
is not
described.
cruelty,
They thought you
it's
were
clarity.
exaggerating when you spoke about
Your
betrayal,
silence
secrets,
is not
and
arrogance,
manipulation behind
it's
closed
awareness.
doors. They said
Your
you were
distance
dramatic
is
when you
not
pointed out the
coldness,
patterns of abuse
it's
and the quiet
evolution.
deals being made in the dark.
Let them call
But
you
what's
whatever
happening
helps
now?
them sleep at
Every
night.
single one of those
You're
things
not
is
here to
crawling
make
out
them
from under the
comfortable.
rug like bugs
You're here
scattering
to
when the
move
light
with
gets turned
purpose,
on.
not
The
permission.
truth was always
And
there.
if your
It
detachment
just
sets
needed
fire
time
to their
grow too big to
insecurities,
hide.
that's
Think
not
about
your
it this
fault.
way.
It's
If you
their
cover a boiling
invitation
pot
to
and
heal.
pretend the heat isn't rising,
You were never
does
meant
that
to
stop
be
it from
understood
spilling
by
over?
those still addicted to chaos. So stop watering
They
yourself
ignored the warning
down
signs,
so they'll
slapped
stop
labels
calling
on
you
to make
too
themselves feel
much.
safe.
Stop
But the
offering
eruption couldn't be
explanations
stopped.
for boundaries
And
they
now they're left
never
with a mess
respected.
too big to clean.
And stop
Because
thinking their
pretending
labels have the
doesn't
power
erase
to define
reality.
you.
It only
They don't
delays
even
it.
understand
And
you,
this isn't
let
just about
alone
being
define
right.
you.
This is about
And here's the
vindication.
kicker. They
Chosen
know
ones,
deep down
your
those
warnings weren't
words
guesses.
don't fit.
They were clarity.
But if they
You
can can convince others to believe it, maybe they won't have to face the truth. That the real reason you pulled away wasn't hate, it was healing. And they couldn't follow you into it. So the next time you hear that you're hard, cold, different, smile, because you are. You're harder to access, colder to manipulation, and different from the version of yourself they thought would never leave. And that's progress. Let them talk, let them twist, let them project. But you keep standing in the truth they're too afraid to face. You didn't change the story, you just stopped playing the role they assigned you.
The same
Number
crowd that
5.
cheered when you were ridiculed
They
is now
project what they
gasping,
can't process
realizing the warnings
and call
they
it
ignored
truth.
and no longer whispers. Their headlines,
They
their
don't
reality,
hate you.
and every
They hate
single
what they
denial they
feel
threw at you
when
is
you
now
walk in
coming
the
back as a
room without
haunting echo.
needing them.
Here's the thing
So
about truth.
listen,
It doesn't
chosen
need your
one.
permission to exist.
The moment
Like
you
fire
stopped
hidden
explaining
under dry
yourself,
leaves. It
they
only
got
takes a spark
loud.
to expose everything.
Not because you were
Chosen
wrong,
ones,
but
you were
because
that
they
spark.
needed you to
You
feel
told them the storm
wrong.
was coming, and they
Not
called
because
you
they saw
paranoid.
truth,
You pointed out
but
the
because
cracks in the
your
wall, and they
detachment
mocked you for
forced
being
them to
negative.
face theirs,
But now the wall is
and they
collapsing
couldn't
brick by
handle it.
brick right in front
So
of them.
what do?
And the dust is
They
choking the
project.
same voices
They
that
throw
once
their
mocked yours.
shadows at you
That's
and
not
hope you'll wear
coincidence.
them like a
That's
second skin.
consequence. And let's bring in the
Arrogant,
facts. Psychology
cold,
has a term for this.
too much,
Cognitive dissonance. It's the
changed.
mental earthquake people
But let's
feel
call
when
it what it
reality
really
collides
is,
with the lies they
a
built their
desperate
comfort around.
attempt to drag
Right
you
now,
back into
that
the
earthquake
emotional
is
mud
shaking their
they're still
entire
stuck
foundation.
in.
They aren't just
It's not that they
confused,
believe the
they're
labels they
exposed.
throw.
Their private
It's that
lives
they
don't
need
match
you
their
to
public
believe them.
performances anymore.
Because if
They
you
act calm in the
do,
daylight,
they win.
but at night they're scrolling
They get
through
access.
articles about stress,
They get control.
karma, and how to undo
They get
mistakes
to
fast.
feel powerful
They're
again.
scrambling because
They
the
call
universe
you
doesn't issue
arrogant,
refunds,
hoping
only
you'll
receipts.
break your peace
And
to
those
prove your
receipts are showing up
humility.
everywhere.
They call
And
you
chosen one,
cold,
before we
hoping
dive
you'll
deeper,
lower your
let me pause here
boundaries
to thank
just
you.
to show you
Thank
care.
you for your courage,
They
your
call you
patience,
fake,
your
hoping
silence
you'll
that spoke
crumble,
louder than
trying
the
to
noise.
prove how real
Don't
you
forget
are.
to return the energy.
But the
Press
truth,
like,
these
subscribe,
aren't
and
honest
share this message
reflections.
so more souls
These
can
are
see the truth for what it
projections.
is.
And
This is bigger
projection
than
is
you
the
and
weapon
me.
of the
It's about
insecure.
spreading the light where shadows
They can't
have grown
admit
too
their fear,
comfortable.
so they
And thank
mock
you
your
again,
confidence.
chosen one, for being
They can't
part of
face
this
their
mission.
dependence,
You are not
so they
standing alone.
ridicule your
You are part of a
independence.
force.
They can't
Now,
reach your level,
let's get back to what's
so they
unfolding,
try to
because
shame
this is
you
important.
into stepping
The whole
down.
community is shook.
You are not the
because
villain
the storm
in their
arrived,
story.
but because
You're
it
the
arrived
mirror.
exactly the way you described.
And mirrors don't lie.
They thought you were
They
exaggerating when you
reflect.
spoke about betrayal.
That's
secrets,
what really
and
hurts them.
manipulation behind
Your
closed
presence
doors.
reflects
They
back
said you were
everything they've
dramatic
been
when you
trying to
pointed out the
avoid.
patterns of abuse and
Your
the quiet
peace
deals being
screams
made in the
over
dark.
their chaos.
But what's happening
Your
now?
detachment
Every single
spotlights
one of
their
those things
addiction
is
to
crawling out
control.
from under the rug
And
like
instead
bugs
of healing,
scattering when the light
they
gets
want to
turned on.
punish you for
The truth
exposing
was
what they're
always
too
there.
afraid to
It
face
just
within
needed time to
themselves.
grow too big to hide.
They think they're
Think
telling
about
the
it this
world
way.
who you
If
are,
you cover a boiling
but all
pot
they're
and pretend
doing
the heat isn't
is
rising,
telling on
does that stop it
themselves.
from spilling over?
Every accusation is actually a
They
confession.
ignored the warning signs,
Arrogant?
slapped labels on you to make themselves
No.
feel safe.
That's
But the
what they
eruption
feel
couldn't
when
be
they're
stopped.
threatened by
And now
someone
they're
who
left with a
doesn't
mess
beg.
too big to clean.
Cold?
Because pretending
No,
doesn't
that's what
erase
they
reality.
feel when they
It
realize their
only delays it.
manipulation has
And
no
this isn't
access
just about
anymore.
being right.
Fake?
This is about
No,
vindication.
that's their
Chosen
mask
ones,
slipping when your
warnings weren't
authenticity
guesses.
shows up without
They were
apology.
clarity.
They want to
weren't
give you a
looking into
burden
the
you
future.
never earned.
You were looking
They
at
want
the
to
present
shift
without
the emotional
filters.
weight
And
off
that
themselves
terrified them.
and onto you.
That's why they laughed.
So you'll carry the
That's
guilt,
why they
the
ridiculed.
shame, the
Because
need
admitting you
to
were right
make
meant
it
admitting
right.
They were blind.
But you don't
People
owe
would rather
anyone
drown
your
in denial
emotional
than admit
labor.
they missed the
You've done
obvious.
the work.
But the
You've
universe
faced your
has a way of
demons.
forcing truth
And
into
now
the
they
open.
want you to carry
No matter
theirs.
how many blankets of lies
No,
people
let
try
them
to cover
sit
it
with the
Now
discomfort
the
they
panic is
created.
setting in.
Every time
Nothing
they
cuts
throw another
deeper than the
label,
moment your mockery
every time
turns
they
into
whisper
silence
another
and your
insult
silence
behind
turns
your
into
back,
fear.
what
Chosen
they're really
ones,
saying
that's
is,
what the community is
I
living
can't
right
touch
now.
you anymore,
The very people who
and
once
it's driving
dismissed
me
you,
insane.
laughed at you, called you
You've
extreme,
become
and now frozen
untouchable.
in disbelief.
Not
It's like
because you're
watching
perfect,
magicians trick
but because
backfire
you've
in slow
stopped
motion.
letting their
The same
insecurities
crowd that
rent
cheered when
space
you were
in your
ridiculed
head.
is now gasping,
You stopped
realizing the
apologizing for
warnings they
growing.
ignored and no
You
longer
stopped
whispers.
shrinking to
Their
fit
headlines,
places that
their
couldn't
reality,
hold your energy.
and every single
And that's
denial they
exactly
threw at
why
you
they're
is now coming
spiraling.
back as a haunting
Your
echo.
detachment?
Here's the
That's
thing about
power.
truth.
Not
It
the
doesn't need
loud,
your permission to
performative
exist.
kind.
Like
The
fire
real
hidden under dry
kind.
leaves.
The kind
It
that
only
doesn't
takes a
flinch
spark
when
to expose
challenged.
everything.
The kind
Chosen
that
ones,
chooses
you were
silence
that
over
spark.
spectacle.
You told them
The
the storm
kind
was
that doesn't
coming, and
need
they
an
called you
audience,
paranoid.
only
You
alignment.
pointed out the cracks in the wall,
And chosen
they mocked
one,
you for being
if you
negative.
ever find yourself
But now the
questioning,
wall is collapsing
maybe
brick
I
by
am
brick
being
right
too
in front of
distant,
them.
maybe
And the
I should
dust is choking
explain.
the same voices that
Stop.
once mocked yours.
You're not
That's
here here to carry anyone else's projections. You're not here to soothe egos that get wounded by your boundaries. You're not here to apologize for standing in a space they've never had the courage to claim for themselves. Your job is to protect your peace, even when that peace makes others uncomfortable, especially when it does. You were chosen not to fit into the dysfunction, but to disrupt it. And the moment you detached, the moment you said no more, the moment you moved in silence, they felt it. That pressure, that shift in energy, that was the universe aligning behind you. And they know it, even if they'll never say it. So let them project. Let them label. Let them twist the story. But you don't flinch. You don't explain. You don't perform emotional CPR on people who flatline themselves, trying to manipulate you. You keep your energy clear, your focus sharp, your detachment sacred. Because the truth is, your stillness is screaming truths they've spent their whole lives avoiding. And every time they try to throw dirt on your name, just remember, dirt only proves you're planted. And now you're growing in a direction they can't follow. Number 6. Your detachment didn't hurt them. It exposed them. The most dangerous energy in a chaotic world is the one who doesn't flinch, doesn't chase, and doesn't need to be understood. So, chosen one, they don't fear you because you're loud. They fear you because you're silent. They don't hate your detachment because it's cold. They hate it because it's clean. No mess, no begging, no emotional ransom. Just distance, sharp, controlled, unapologetic. And that kind of power shatters illusions. You've probably heard the line, "You've changed." But let's translate that into truth. You're no longer controllable. You're no longer reactive. You no longer need their approval to breathe. Your detachment, your calm, centered refusal to dance to their dysfunction is the loudest truth they've ever faced. Not because you're attacking, but because you stopped engaging. And nothing crushes the insecure faster than realizing their games no longer work on you. They thrived off your reactions. Every emotion you gave them, every explanation, every time you tried to make it right, it fed their illusion of control. But now, you're unreachable, and your silence echoes louder than any argument ever could. Let's be clear, your detachment is not passive. It's resistance, the kind that shakes foundations, the kind that Joan of Arc embodied when she refused to bow to what was expected. She didn't become a threat because she was violent. She became a threat because she couldn't be moved by fear, guilt, or the opinions of the mob. Like her, you've become a symbol of resistance. And in a world addicted to validation, addicted to attention, addicted to emotional puppeteering, your ability to stay grounded is dangerous. You don't give people their emotional fix anymore. You don't respond to bait. You don't argue with people trying to pull you back into cycles you've outgrown. That detachment, it's a mirror, and when insecure people look into it, they don't see you. They see everything they're not, because you've become what they can't fake, emotionally stable, energetically sovereign, unbothered by noise, because you've tuned into peace. They call it arrogance. They say you think you're better. But the truth is, they wish they had your level of control, your discipline, your ability to choose silence when every part of your old self would have screamed. They envy it, but pride won't let them say it. So instead, they attack it. You've become what exposes them. And that's why they can't look away. You're not detaching because you don't care. You're detaching because you do. You care about your mental clarity, your spirit, your alignment. You care enough about your peace to protect it, even when it makes other people uncomfortable. And yes, that makes people angry, because your very existence now becomes a trigger. Your detachment dares them to examine themselves, to question their own addictions to chaos, codependency, emotional drama. And most of them can't handle it. So what do? They come for your name, your character, your energy, hoping that if they throw enough shade, it will dim your light. But they never learned. Shade can't survive without light. Their efforts only prove how bright you're shining.
They ignored the warning signs.
And here's what they really can't accept. They need the version of you that needed them.
And now they're left
The
with a mess
version
too
that
big to claim.
over-explained,
Because pretending doesn't erase
overgave,
reality.
stayed too
It
long,
only delays it.
ignored red
This
flags.
isn't just about being
That
right.
version kept their
This is about
insecurities hidden.
vindication.
But this
Chosen ones,
version,
your
the
warnings weren't
detached,
guesses.
grounded,
They were
focused
clarity.
you,
You weren't
this
looking
version
into the future.
forces truth
You
to
were
the
looking at the
surface.
present without
You
filters.
became the reflection
And
they
that
weren't ready
terrified
to
them.
see.
That's why
And
they
instead
laughed.
of facing it,
That's why they
they tried
ridiculed.
to break the mirror.
Because admitting you were right
But
meant
let them
admitting they were
try.
blind.
Let
And
them
people would
push.
rather drown in
Let
denial
them
than
call
admit
your
they missed the
stillness
obvious.
strange.
But the
Let
universe
them
has a way
mock
of
what they
forcing truth
secretly
into the
admire.
open.
Because no matter what
blankets
they
of lies
throw,
people try
they
to cover it
can't
with.
touch your
Now
center.
the panic is
You've
setting
anchored
in.
too deep.
Nothing cuts
You've
deeper
built
than
too
the moment
much.
your mockery
And
turns
the
into
storm
silence,
outside
and your
no
silence
longer
turns into
controls
fear.
the calm
Chosen
within.
ones. That's
You
what
are
the
not
community is
detached
living right
because
now.
you're
The very
emotionless.
people who once
You
dismissed
are detached
laughed at you,
because you're
called you
finally
extreme,
aware.
and now frozen in
And when the
disbelief.
chosen become
It's like
aware,
watching a magician's
truly
trick
aware,
backfire in
the
slow
universe
motion.
starts
The same
moving
crowd that
things.
cheered when you were
People
ridiculed is now
fall away.
gasping.
Rooms
Realizing
get
the warnings they
quieter.
ignored are
The
no
circle
longer whispers.
shrinks.
Their headlines,
Not because
their
you
reality,
failed,
and
but
every
because
single
you
denial they
finally
threw at you
stopped
is now
shrinking.
coming back as a haunting
Your
echo.
detachment
Here's
is
the thing about
divine
truth.
disruption,
It doesn't
a
need
signal,
your permission to
a
exist.
filter,
Like fire
a
hidden
weapon.
under dry leaves.
It shows
only takes a
who's
spark
real,
to expose
who
everything.
can handle
Chosen
truth,
ones, you were
who's
that
strong
spark.
enough to meet you
told
where
them the
you
storm
are,
was coming, and they
and
called you
most
paranoid.
can't.
You pointed out
So
the cracks
don't
in the
you
wall,
dare
and they mocked
question
you for
your
being
calm.
negative. But
Don't
now
you
the
dare
wall is
explain
collapsing
your
brick by
silence.
brick right in front of
Don't
them.
you dare
And
fall
the
into
dust
guilt
is
for
choking the same
outgrowing the
voices that once
noise.
mocked yours.
Let them
That's
squirm
not
in the
coincidence.
discomfort of your
That's
stillness.
consequence.
Let them
And
wrestle
spring
with the
in facts.
reflection you
Psychology
unintentionally
has a term
hold
for
up.
this.
You
Cognitive
weren't made
dissonance.
to coddle
It's the mental
egos.
earthquake
You were
people
made to
feel when
hold
reality
space
collides with
for
the lies
truth,
they built their
for
comfort
growth,
around.
for something
Right now,
bigger.
that earthquake is
They can
shaking their
keep
entire
talking.
foundation.
But the
They
ones
aren't
who
just
know,
confused, they're
the ones
exposed.
like you,
Their private
they'll
lives
see
don't
your
match their
detachment
public
for what it
performances
is,
anymore.
not
They
the
act calm
absence
in the
of
daylight,
feeling,
but at night
but
they're
the
scrolling
presence
through
of
articles
power.
about stress, karma, and how to
Number
undo mistakes
7.
fast. They're scrambling
You broke
because the
the
universe
game
doesn't issue
when you
refunds,
stopped
only
playing.
receipts. And those receipts are showing up everywhere.
The moment you
And
stopped
chosen one,
reacting,
before we
their
dive
whole
deeper,
strategy
let me
became
pause here to
useless.
Thank you.
You
Thank
didn't
you for
just
your
escape
courage,
the trap.
your patience,
You made the
your
trap
silence that
irrelevant.
spoke louder than their noise.
So listen,
Don't
chosen
forget
one.
to return the
It
energy.
always starts
Press
the
like,
same way.
subscribe, and
They
share
bait
this
you
message
with
so
guilt,
more souls can see the
tease you
truth
with
for what it
shame.
is.
Press
This is
buttons
bigger
they
than
once
you and me.
programmed into
It's
your
about
emotional
spreading the light
system.
where shadows
They
have
want
grown too
anger.
comfortable.
They want
And thank you
tears.
again,
They
chosen
want you
one, for
flinching
being part of
because
this
that's
mission.
where their power
You are not
lives.
standing alone.
But what happens
You are part of
when
a
none of
force.
it lands?
Now, let's get
What
back to what's
happens when the
unfolding,
guilt
because this is
doesn't move
important.
you?
The whole
The shame
community is
doesn't
shook.
bite,
Not because
and the
storm
emotional
arrived,
strings
but
they
because
once
it
pulled
arrived
like
exactly
puppet
the way you
masters
described.
go
They
slack.
thought you were exaggerating
The
when you
game
spoke about
breaks.
betrayal,
Because
secrets,
without your
and
reaction,
manipulation behind
they
closed
have
doors.
nothing.
They said you were
These
dramatic when you
manipulators
pointed out
don't
the powers
thrive
of
off
abuse
love.
and the quiet
They
deals
don't
being
thrive
made in the
off
dark.
connection.
But what's
They
happening
thrive
now?
off control.
Every single one of those things
Emotional
is crawling out
chaos
from under the
is
rug
their
like
playground.
bugs scattering when the light
And your
gets turned
feelings?
on. The
That's
truth
their
was
currency.
always there.
But
It
when
just
you
needed time to
detach,
grow too big
when
to
you
hide.
stop spending
Think
emotional
about it this
energy
way.
where it's not
If you cover
respected,
a boiling pot
you
and pretend
bankrupt
the
the
heat
whole
isn't
system.
rising, does that
You
stop
see,
it from spilling
detachment isn't weakness. It's warfare. Quiet
They
warfare.
ignored the warning signs,
Clean
slapped
warfare.
labels on you to
The
make
kind that
themselves
doesn't
feel
need a
safe.
sword
But the eruption
because it has
couldn't be
already
stopped.
claimed the
And now
victory
they're
through
left with a mess
non-response.
too big to claim.
It's your soul's
Because
way of
pretending
saying,
doesn't erase
your tactics
reality.
don't work
It
here
only
anymore.
delays it.
And
this
trust
isn't
me,
just about being
they
right.
feel that
This
shift.
is about vindication.
Because their entire
Chosen ones,
identity was
your
built on your
warnings weren't
reactions.
guesses.
They
were
poked
clarity.
and you responded.
weren't looking into
They
the
lied
future.
and you
were
defended
looking at the
yourself.
present without
They
filters.
twisted facts
And that
and you
terrified
tried
them.
to set the record
That's why
straight.
They laughed.
That's how the
why
game
they
worked.
ridiculed.
That's
Because
how they
admitting
stayed
you were right
relevant,
meant admitting
by
they were
pulling you
blind.
in.
And people would
But
rather
then you
drown
went
in denial
quiet.
than admit they
You
missed the
stopped
obvious.
flinching.
But the
You
universe
stopped
has a way
proving.
of forcing
You
truth
stopped
into the
needing
open.
them to
No
understand
matter how many
anything
blankets
about
of
you.
lies people try to cover
And
it
just
with.
like that,
Now the
the
panic is
structure
setting in.
collapsed.
Nothing cuts deeper
Now
than the moment
they're
your mockery
spiraling.
turns into silence,
Now they
and your silence turns
escalate.
into
More
fear.
drama,
Chosen
more
ones.
accusations,
That's what the
more
community is
desperation.
living right now.
They'll say
The
anything
very
to try
people
to
who once
drag you
dismissed
back
you,
into the
laughed at
chaos.
you, called
They'll
you
shift
extreme,
from
and
guilt
now
to
frozen in
anger
disbelief.
to victimhood
It's
in
like watching
seconds,
magicians
hoping
trick
one
backfire in
version
slow
sticks.
motion.
But it never does, because you're done playing roles in stories they wrote to serve themselves. And that's what they can't handle, the loss of emotional access, the silence, the way their words bounce off you now like rubber bullets instead of piercing your peace. They used to pull strings, now they pull stunts, and every failed attempt is a loud reminder that the only power they ever had was the power you used to give them. Let that sink in. You were the power source the entire time. You were the energy they fed on. You were the ground they stood on while pretending to tower over you. But now you've pulled the plug, and without your energy, they're just noise, loud, chaotic, powerless noise. That's why detachment is more than just distance. It's destruction. It destroys illusions. It dismantles control systems. It exposes fragility that was hiding behind fake dominance. It tears down the scaffolding of lies they built around your loyalty. And here's what most chosen ones don't realize at first. When you stop reacting, they're not just confused. They're forced to feel. All the fear, the insecurity, the deep emptiness they were avoiding by distracting themselves with your emotions, it hits them. Because your detachment puts them face to face with their own lack of inner power. No more blaming, no more scapegoating, no more "you're the problem." Just the reality that without you, they're stuck with themselves. And for some of them, that's the scariest thing in the world. So let them escalate. Let them shout into silence. Let them throw everything at you, hoping something will break through. But you hold the line. You stay still. You stay clear. You keep your energy on lock. You are no longer a participant in a game rigged against your peace. You are no longer the emotional vending machine they shake when they need validation. You are no longer available for manipulation disguised as concern. And when they ask themselves why nothing they do gets to you anymore, the answer is simple. The game is broken because you outgrew it, because you saw through it. Because the moment you chose detachment, you chose sovereignty, and there's no coming back from that. This is what chosen looks like. Not loud, not reactive, not desperate to be seen or understood, but grounded, clear, whole. So let them call it cold. Let them call it cruel. Let them say, "You've changed," because you have. And that change, it's the very thing they never saw coming. You didn't just walk away. You burned the stage and took your spotlight with you. Number 8. Your calm isn't weakness. It's a language they can't speak. Calm isn't the absence of emotion. It's the presence of discipline. And you know what? They misread your silence as apathy. They see your steady eyes and think you don't feel, but your calm isn't cold. It's calculated. You're not disconnected. You're in control. That difference, it's what sets the chosen apart from the broken. You don't react, you respond. You don't flail, you observe. You don't fight every battle. You choose which ones are even worth showing up to. Your calm isn't a shutdown, it's a sharpened focus. Like a surgeon in an emergency or a soldier in combat, you think clearly when others panic. And it makes people uncomfortable. Because in a world addicted to urgency, someone who moves with intention is dangerous. You are like Hestia, the flame that doesn't flicker with every gust of wind. You keep steady, and by doing so, you reveal how chaotic everyone else truly is. Your peace acts like a mirror, one that reflects the inner storms of people who haven't built that same stillness. You're like Sherlock Holmes too, not distant but dialed in. Your detachment isn't escape, it's elevation. While they spiral, you analyze. While they chase attention, you move in silence. While they react, you calculate. Your distance gives you vision, clarity, strategy. And in relationships, your calm repels the chaotic and attracts the authentic. Because energy leeches can't feed off what doesn't flinch. They need drama to survive, and you starve it. That's what they'll never understand. Your calm isn't lack of feeling. It's emotional self-mastery. You're not numb. You've just built something stronger than most people ever will. Inner authority. And that makes you powerful in every room you walk into. So when they call you cold, distant, hard to read, remember, they're just speaking the language of the uncontrolled. You've moved beyond reacting for validation. You've stopped being baited by emotional noise. You've mastered the quiet. And in that quiet lies dominance. They don't get it, and they don't have to. Because calmness isn't submission. It's proof that you've already won.
They ignored the warning signs.
Number 9. Your detachment is the mirror they can't shatter. You didn't expose them. They saw themselves in your silence, and that was enough. And listen, chosen one, they think you're avoiding them, that you walked away to escape the chaos, but they've got it twisted. You didn't run, you evolved, and your evolution demands detachment. You're not reacting to their dysfunction. You're not rising to every jab, every guilt trip, every emotional outburst. And that's not because you don't care, it's because you finally care enough about yourself not to play the game. And that silence, that distance, it burns them, because it turns your presence into a mirror, and that mirror doesn't lie. It reflects their emotional mess, their unhealed patterns, their manipulative tactics, and it does it all without a single word. You're not judging them, but your growth feels like judgment. You're not exposing them, but your detachment pulls the mask off every performance they put on. They can't escape it, so they lash out, or go quiet, or disappear. But deep down, they're watching, studying, obsessed with how someone like you can stand so tall, without clinging to approval, without chasing validation, without breaking under pressure. And here's what they'll never admit. They admire it, even as they resent it. Because you've done what they're too afraid to do. Disconnect from chaos and find power in peace. You've walked away, not just from people, but from patterns, from cycles, from systems that demanded your silence in exchange for belonging. And now, you belong to yourself. That's what makes you untouchable. Chosen ones weren't made to be controlled. You were made to awaken. And when you detach, you do more than leave toxic energy behind. You trigger awakening in others. Not always welcome, not always pretty, but always necessary. So don't confuse your stillness with invisibility. Don't mistake your distance for weakness. You're not fading, you're reflecting. You're showing people exactly who they are without ever raising your voice. And for some, that's too much truth to bear. You didn't start the fire. You just stopped putting it out. Now they're left standing in the smoke, forced to choose, grow or burn. And now you see it. Your detachment was never the problem. It was the revelation, the shift, the silent revolution that exposed everything false around you. You didn't lose anything by walking away. You reclaimed everything they tried to drain. This is the power of being chosen. Calm in the chaos, clarity in confusion, untouchable in truth. If this message hit different, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments to let others know you're walking in your power. Share this with another chosen one who needs the reminder, because when one awakens, we all rise.